Why atheists are falsely accused of lying. Be serious, right? So you don't believe in God? At all? My friend's eyes widened, a mixture of amusement and disbelief swirling in their depths. Come on now, you're pulling my leg, right? This, in my experience, is a typical conversation starter when someone discovers my atheism. It's usually met with nervous laughter, as if I've just told a wildly funny joke. The punchline, of course, being that I'm deadly serious. This anecdote, while humorous, highlights a pervasive issue: the immediate assumption that atheists must be joking, lying, or somehow not being truthful. It's an odd accusation when you think about it. Atheism is, at its core, a simple statement. I don't believe in any gods. Yet for some, this simple declaration of non-belief is met with suspicion, as if it's a cunningly disguised attack on their faith. It's fascinating how a lack of belief can be so provocative to some. The idea that one can live a moral, fulfilling life without the guidance of a deity is often met with incredulity. People often ask, but where do you get your morals from? As if morality is exclusive to religious teachings. The truth is, morality is a human construct, evolving over time through societal norms and personal experiences. We don't need a divine being to tell us that kindness, empathy, and respect are valuable traits. These values are inherent in our humanity, and we can cultivate them through our interactions and choices. Atheism, for many, is not about rejecting something, but about embracing a different perspective. It's about seeking understanding through science, reason, and personal experience. It's about finding meaning in the here and now, rather than in an afterlife. And ultimately, it's about living authentically, true to one's own beliefs and values. So, the next time you meet an atheist, remember they're not joking, they're just living their truth. And that, in itself, is something to respect and understand. The accusation of dishonesty often stems from a deeply ingrained belief that morality is inextricably linked to a belief in a higher power. This belief is not just a casual thought, but a cornerstone of many people's understanding of right and wrong. Many theists are taught from a young age that their holy books are the source of all that is good and right in the world. These texts are often seen as the ultimate guide to living a virtuous life, providing clear instructions on what is considered moral behavior. Without this divine guidance, the thinking goes, people would be lost in a sea of moral ambiguity, free to lie, cheat, and steal without consequence. The fear is that without a higher power to answer to, there would be no reason to adhere to any moral code. This perspective paints atheists as walking a moral tightrope without a safety net. It suggests that without the fear of divine punishment, atheists are constantly on the verge of moral collapse, struggling to maintain their integrity. It assumes that without the fear of divine retribution, we are all potential criminals just waiting for the right opportunity. This view implies that the only thing keeping people from committing crimes is the fear of being caught and punished by a higher power. It's a flawed and frankly insulting assumption, but one that sadly persists in many circles. This belief overlooks the fact that many atheists and secular individuals adhere to a strong moral code based on empathy, reason, and a sense of shared humanity. They do not need the threat of divine punishment to act ethically. Their morality is grounded in the real-world consequences of their actions and the well-being of others. In fact, studies have shown that secular societies often have lower crime rates and higher levels of social well-being. This suggests that morality is not exclusive to religious belief, but can be cultivated through a variety of means, including education, community, and a commitment to the common good. Ultimately, the idea that morality requires a belief in a higher power is a narrow and limiting view. It fails to recognize the diverse ways in which people can develop a strong moral compass and live ethical lives. Whether through religious faith or secular philosophy, the capacity for moral behavior is a fundamental aspect of the human experience. We tend to approach these claims with a healthy dose of skepticism, demanding evidence and applying logical reasoning. This can be jarring for those accustomed to accepting religious doctrines without question. When presented with scientific evidence that contradicts their beliefs, or when their logic is challenged, some theists perceive this as a personal attack. They may accuse atheists of being deliberately deceptive, of twisting facts to fit their agenda. In reality, atheists are often simply trying to engage in honest intellectual discourse, seeking truth through reason and evidence. Often theists escalate into full-blown accusations of malicious intent. Atheists are accused of being driven by an agenda to destroy religion, to corrupt the youth, to usher in a godless society devoid of morality. This is where the conversation often breaks down. These accusations are often so deeply rooted in pre-existing biases that they become impenetrable. It's like trying to have a rational conversation with a brick wall. No amount of evidence or logic can penetrate the fortress of belief that has been carefully constructed. The crux of the issue lies in the fundamental difference between faith and reason. Faith, by its very nature, requires belief without evidence. Reason, on the other hand, demands evidence before belief can be granted. This fundamental difference in worldview often leads to a clash of perspectives. When atheists ask for evidence to support religious claims, it's not, as some theists believe, an attempt to be difficult or disrespectful. It's simply a reflection of our commitment to evidence-based reasoning. We ask for evidence not to disprove someone's faith, but to understand the basis for their beliefs. So how can atheists counter these false narratives? It's a question that many have pondered, especially in a world where misinformation can spread rapidly and easily. The answer, I believe, lies in engaging with honesty, respect, and a commitment to facts. By approaching conversations with a genuine desire to understand and be understood, we can bridge gaps and foster mutual respect. When confronted with accusations of lying or ill intent, it's tempting to respond with anger or sarcasm. These reactions, while natural, often escalate tensions and lead to unproductive exchanges. However, I found that a calm, reasoned approach is far more effective. Taking a moment to breathe and collect your thoughts can make a significant difference in how the conversation unfolds. Instead of meeting accusations with fury, counter them with facts. Presenting clear, verifiable information can help dispel myths and provide a solid foundation for your arguments. If someone claims that atheists are immoral, point to the countless examples of ethical atheists who live their lives with compassion and integrity. Highlighting real-life stories and examples can be a powerful way to challenge stereotypes and demonstrate the diversity within the atheist community. If someone accuses you of lying, reaffirm your commitment to truth and honesty, explaining that your atheism is simply a reflection of your understanding of the world. Emphasize that your beliefs are based on careful consideration and a desire to seek out the truth, rather than a rejection of morality or ethics. By consistently demonstrating integrity and a commitment to factual information, atheists can effectively counter false narratives and build bridges of understanding. It's not always easy, but it's a crucial part of fostering a more informed and respectful dialogue. Remember, facts over fury. In the long run, a calm and reasoned approach will always be more persuasive and impactful than anger or hostility. Let's strive to be ambassadors of truth and understanding in every conversation we engage in. Ultimately, the antidote to these false narratives lies in promoting critical thinking. We need to encourage people to question everything, to demand evidence, to think for themselves. This goes beyond just religion. It's about fostering a society that values reason, logic, and evidence-based decision-making. Critical thinking allows us to see through the fog of misinformation and bias. It empowers us to challenge dogma, to question authority, and to arrive at our own conclusions based on evidence and reason. In a world awash in misinformation, critical thinking is not just an academic exercise, it's an essential life skill. It's important to remember that this isn't about converting people to atheism. It's about fostering understanding, respect, and open dialogue. It's about building bridges of communication rather than walls of division. When we approach these conversations with empathy and a willingness to listen, we open the door for meaningful engagement. We may not always agree, but we can at least strive to understand each other's perspectives and find common ground. It starts with each of us committing to honesty, integrity, and respectful dialogue. By promoting critical thinking and engaging with empathy, we can dismantle the misconceptions that fuel these accusations. It's time to move beyond the tired, bigoted tropes of atheists as liars or deceivers. Let's work together to create a world where individuals are judged not by their beliefs, but by their actions, their character, and their commitment to objective truth. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Freethinker's Journey.